Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is September 10th, 2014, and today is the middle of the week. It's Wednesday. So looking at the markets, things are starting to consolidate. The U.S. dollar's recent rise against most of the currencies across the board seems like it's consolidating at these levels. But just first looking at the economic calendar, not major news today, but some news coming out. Today we have a GBP number, Bank of England inflation report is coming out at 3:45 South African time, and then New Zealand dollar interest rate decision will be coming out at 11 o'clock South African time. Going into early tomorrow morning, we have a few numbers from New Zealand and some numbers from the Aussie dollar, which is going to be very, very early in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. If you're up and you feel like trading, then that's also an option. But looking at the markets, let's just start with the Euro USD, our go-to currency. You see that we've had this huge incline down. It's been, consistently going down for quite a while now, for about over 2 months. If we look on a daily chart, we're seeing from July to August that it's been completely falling apart. I mean, even prior to that, hitting a high of 139.50 over in March and never breaking it higher. We're now consolidating here at 129.25-ish area. Again, on the low side, you have some support at 128.30-ish. But by and large, this thing is really, really weak. So it looks like that's an inverted hammer. So I would really look maybe to buy a little bit, see how it's coming together. This thing is due for a bounce, but like I said, you need to wait until it consolidates in order for it to give you some sort of confirmation that the selling has been stopped. So that's what I would say with the Euro USD. Looking at the GBP USD, also consolidating a little bit on these levels. You see here after this big sell-off against the USD, you see that it's also consolidating here. So I would say it's somewhat of the same play. Just wait for entry level, maybe get in a little bit, not too high. Wait until you're up in the position, and then get a little bit more aggressive. But all in all, the dollar has gotten much stronger against most of the currencies, as we see here against the Aussie USD. Looking at a 8-hour chart, we're new lows. Okay, as you could see here on a daily chart. Let's see how far lower we can go. Well, we have a little bit of a resistance over here, which is anticipated support about these levels right here. So it could look like it's going to bounce off these levels. If we see that multiple currencies are hitting certain thresholds like support or previous resistance, you can maybe anticipate across the board that that might be a place where all the currencies may bounce. Okay, so that's a little bit of a insider trading technique as well. Looking at the Dow Jones, we're at the bottom of the range. Let's see if we can hold this level, or let's see if it's going to fall apart. Like I said, it was very clear to sell the top of the range, very clear to buy the bottom of the range. But realistically, I'd really keep an eye out on the downside because you never know. This thing could break apart, and in 3 months from now we could be trading at 11,000. Unlikely, because the economy is still pretty strong, but you always have to take precautions for yourself. Looking at the USD ZAR, okay, we hit new highs here. We're at almost at 11 right here. Broke this high, broke this high, broke this high, right about right here. 182 yesterday, 1082. Look at where we're at, 1096. That's a major, major level as we're inching closer to its highs. Now, I believe its highs are 1120, 1150, is it? Yeah, it's about 1135. So the next pivotal spot is at, I would say, at 11. Okay, if it breaks a higher than that, we're looking at 11-ish area for some resistance. If it breaks higher, then we may see it testing 1130 again. And this is all connected to the gold, obviously. It's affecting it on the long term. If we look at an 8-hour chart, we're back down to our lower levels at 1256. We had a low of 1250-ish, as we saw here, and it bounced to 1256. And like I said before, I don't see this thing turning around and going back to 17,000 anytime soon. This is from our highs. But you can see that the bounces are getting smaller. It's consolidating more. Okay, it seems like there's a nice support level at 1250 and 1200, but you see it's going down further, so that might be an indication that it's making lower highs and might break down on the 1200 level. So we may test this 1200 before the end of the year, and that's really what I'd like to see. But at this point, it's still range trading for me. Okay, so I would still say it's a range trade, but to have this in the back of my mind that it's making lower highs. Okay, so ultimately speaking, it's still a very weak commodity. Okay, compared to what the indices have been doing this past year, it's still very, very, very weak. This is Razak at CM Trading. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thanks.